Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita
Jaya
Chandra
Jaya
Jaya
Gaura
Gaura
Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda
Vrinda.
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय।
Jai,
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai,
समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Dear devotees, welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 4, Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. In this, the recent uh, episode that we read was uh, that Gopinath appeared in the dream of the Pujari. Gopinath means Kirchor Gopinath. So Gopinath of Remuna. Uh, so he appeared in a dream and he told the priest that he had hidden one pot of sweet rice, that Amrita Keli sweet rice, which is offered to Gopinath every evening. So he hid one behind the cloth curtain and that the priest should collect it and immediately deliver it to Madhavendra Puri. So the priest woke up from his sleep and then he thought it wise to first take bath before entering the deity room. So he took bath, he opened the lock, opened the door, went inside and he looked behind the cloth curtain. There it was, one pot. So he quickly cleaned it up. He went, Gopinath had also said that the Pujari does not know this or he didn't realize it because he was tricked by the Lord's Maya. So he tricked, the Lord made it so that the Pujari didn't realize. And then he said, Madhavendra Puri is now in the marketplace, vacant marketplace. You go and give it to him. So this Pujari, in the middle of the night, he went to the various marketplaces in the village of Remuna and he started calling out, Madhavendra Puri, Madhavendra Puri. Whosoever's name is Madhavendra Puri, please come and collect the sweet rice. You are the most fortunate person in the three worlds. Gopinath stole a pot of sweet rice for you. Please come and collect it, like this. And then he would go to the next marketplace, like that. So when he came to the vacant marketplace where Madhavendra Puri was sitting and chanting, Madhavendra Puri, the person whose name is Madhavendra Puri, please come. The Pujari immediately fell flat in front of Madhavendra Puri, Dandavat obeisances. And then he offered the sweet rice and he told everything that happened, the whole, how Gopinath came in the dream and everything. And after delivering it to Madhavendra Puri, what did he do? That's what we are going to read now. एत बोली नमस्करी कोरिला गमना आवेशे कोरिला पुरी से खीर भक्षण. So just saying this much means he told, the pujari told what happened, the whole uh, incident, how the Lord appeared to him and told him, and how he found the sweet rice. And offering obeisances, he left. The pujari left. Again, he has to go back for his service of the deity. So he went back. Meanwhile, Madhavendra Puri heard, see, why Madhavendra Puri even left that place. He was feeling so ashamed of himself that he desired a little bit of that sweet rice when it was still on the altar. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm so fallen. Krishna is still enjoying and I'm thinking of tasting it. I'm so fallen. Like that, Gopinath was thinking. I'm sorry, Madhavendra Puri was thinking. So feeling ashamed, feeling so guilty, he just left that place without telling anyone. And then he was just chanting the names of the Lord. That was his condition. And this pujari comes and tells him, the Lord stole a pot of sweet rice for you. Here, take this. And you are the most fortunate person. You can try to imagine the condition of Madhavendra Puri. You know, from the depths of guilt, now he's seeing how glorious is the Lord, how merciful, how kind, how loving is Krishna. And I made a great offense, and the Lord stole a pot of sweet rice for me. And then in great eagerness, avesha, right, in great, he just took that sweet rice, because that sweet rice is actually Krishna's love. It is Krishna's reciprocation. So with great eagerness, he took and he started eating that sweet rice. After the pujari left, of course. Aveshe korila puri se khira bhakshana. The priest offered his obeisances to Madhavendra Puri and returned to the temple. Then in ecstasy, Madhavendra Puri ate the sweet rice offered to him by Krishna. Great ecstasy. Patra prakhalana kori khanda khanda koilo bahir bahir vase bandhi sei thikari rakhilo. So that patra, it's a clay pot. Yes, we read that. In 12 clay pots, the sweet rice is offered to Gopinath. So it's a clay pot which was offered to Madhavendra Puri. So in great ecstasy, relishing Krishna's love, he ate all the sweet rice nicely. You can imagine, he just ate up everything. Then Patra Prakhalana Kori, he cleaned up the pot nicely. After eating, he washed it, cleaned it nicely. Khanda Khanda Koilo, he broke it into pieces. The clay pot, he broke it into small pieces. Bahir Vase Bandhi, so his outer cloth, right, chadar. He took his chadar, said Thikari Rakilo, and all those pieces he put inside the cloth and he tied it into a knot, right, like a, what do you say? Uh, you tie the end of the cloth like this into a, like this. Some ladies, right, they put some things like maybe some coins or some keys or something, or maybe some prasadam that they want to take for someone. They put in the cloth and they type like that. Like in Sudama Brahman, Sudama, his wife gave him in a cloth, she put the flat rice, and she tied it up, tied a knot, and then it becomes like a small package, cloth package. And then they put it, around their arm, like make it like a bag or something, or just leave it it is tied and it's at the end of the cloth, so you just wear it around you, the chadar, like that. But what was in that cloth? The pieces of clay of that pot which was stolen by Gopinath. And what is he going to do with those pieces? Patra prakhalana kori khanda khanda koilo bahir vase bandhi sei thikari, pieces of what? Rakilo. Translation. After this, Madhavendra Puri, sorry. I don't know why my screen share doesn't work from time to time. Oh, okay. So after this, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot, Patra Prakhalina Kori, and broke it into pieces, Khanda Khanda Koilo, right? He washed the pot and broke it into pieces. He then bound all the pieces in his outer cloth and kept them nicely. Pratidina Eka Khani, Korena Bhakshana, Khaile, Premavesha Hoy, Adbhuta Kathana. So every day, so he tied up these pieces of clay pot in the cloth and he kept it with him. Every day he would eat one piece of that clay pot, one small piece every day he would eat. And while eating it, he would reminisce. I wouldn't say remember. Remember is when you forget something, then you remember. It's not like he has forgotten and he's remembering, but he would relish, right? Reminiscing that in that moment, that pastime of the Lord, that reciprocation of Krishna. So he would take that and he would relive the whole experience. This is the pot that Krishna stole for me, right? So he would eat that and he would just feel ecstasy. So every day he would eat one piece of that clay pot. Pratidina eka khani korena bhakshana khaile. After eating, prema vesha hoy. He would go into ecstasy of love of Godhead. Adbhuta kathana, right? This is amazing. Each day, Madhavendra Puri would eat one piece of that earthen pot, and after eating it, he would immediately be overwhelmed with ecstasy. These are wonderful stories. Thakura more khira dilo loka saba shuni dine loka bhidag hobe mora pratishtha jani. Now, that night, so that's what he did. So the future was said. Every day he would eat. So he tied up and he would eat. So meanwhile, that night after he ate, the same very night, after he ate and he broke the pot and tied it up in a cloth, he's thinking like this. Thakura more khira dilo loka sabashuni. All the people when they will hear how the Lord Gopinath has given me this kheer. When the people will hear that Gopinath has given Madhavendra Puri this kheer or stolen kheer for this devotee Madhavendra Puri, what will happen when the people hear? Dine loka bhida hobe mora pratishtha jani. And in the day, after daylight, all the people will gather around me, hearing the mercy I receive from the Lord and pratishtha, name, right? My greatness, right? So they will hear this, my greatness or my great fortune, um, that the Lord stole sweet rice for me. Immediately they will crowd around me in the morning when they hear about this. These things are not going to be hidden. They'll just spread like wildfire. And everyone will come looking for Madhavendra Puri. Thakura more khira dilo, loka saba shuni, dine loka bhida hobe, like bhid, right? Hobe mora pratishtha jani. Having broken the pot and bound the pieces in his cloth, Madhavendra Puri began to think, the Lord has given me a pot of sweet rice, and when the people hear of this tomorrow morning, there will be great crowds. Right? Sei bhaye ratri shesha, sheshe cholila Shri Puri, sei khane Gopinathe dandavata kori. So thinking like this, out of fear, say bhai, out of fear of the fame that he would get, out of fear of all the crowds that would gather around him and that will worship him. My God, such a great devotee. Out of fear of the crowds. That very night, he started off for Puri. Remember, Madhavendra Puri came from Govardhan because Gopal came in his dream and told him, even after all that Abhishek with water, cool water, my body is still very hot. You go and get some sandalwood from Jagannath Puri and make a paste of that and you apply it on my body, then only I will be cooled down. And because no one else is capable of doing this job, you should go personally. So Madhavendra Puri left. And on the way to Jagannath Puri, he was coming via Bengal. First, he stopped at Advaitacharya's house in Shantipur. And from there, he continued and now he stopped at Remuna, Gopinath's place, temple. So now he's actually on his way to Jagannath Puri. But when this incident happened in Remuna, that very night, he actually arrived that day only, isn't it? He just arrived and he was talking to some pujaris, and the thought came about sweet rice. He felt terrible about himself. He left the temple and he went to the marketplace. All this happened that same day. And in the night, the pujari came and gave him the sweet rice and he left the place right away. In the morning, when all the people will hear, they will crowd around me. And, he was fearful of the fame and attention that he's going to get. This is a, you know, this is a great devotee, pure devotees. They don't want fame or name for themselves. They want all glory for Krishna and for Krishna's devotees. But for themselves, they're afraid of pratishtha, they're afraid of, uh, material profit. They don't want all these things. They literally run away from it. Literally, we are seeing in Madhavendra Puri's case. The Lord arranged for it, but Madhavendra Puri is running away. In the dead of the night, in the middle of the night, when nobody was around and nobody knew who he was, he left. Because the next day morning, it was going to be a big, like crowds there worshipping him. So he left for Puri. Sei bhaye ratri shesha chalila Sri ratri sheshe chalila Sri Puri. And then before leaving, what did he do? Sei khane Gopinathe dandavata kori. He didn't go to the temple to see. Gopinath has taken the sweet rice for him. So normally what will you do? If you receive a favor from some friend and such an extraordinary favor, what will you do? From such an extraordinary, such a great personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, what would anyone do? Right? You would go and at least say, thank you, my dear sir, right? For your mercy. But the fear of the attention he's going to get, because of that fear, he didn't even wait for next day morning to go to the temple to take darshan of Gopinath and to thank him. Rather, he offered Dandavat obeisances to Gopinath right there. From wherever he was in that marketplace, he offered Dandavat obeisances and he left in the middle of the night. He left the village of Remuna to go to Jagannath Puri. Thinking this, Sri Madhavendra Puri offered his obeisances to Gopinath on the spot and left Remuna before morning. चली चली आईला पुरी श्रीनीला चला Jagannath dekhi hoila premete vihvala. Walking and walking. He was walking from Govardhan. Then he came to Bengal, Remuna. From Remuna he walked to Jagannath Puri. Choli choli aila Puri Sri Nilachal. And finally he arrived at Sri Jagannath Puri Sri Nilachal Dham. Jagannath dekhi hoila premete vihvala. And when he took darshan of Jagannath, he became completely vihvala, overwhelmed in ecstasy. Out of love for the Lord, he became completely overwhelmed. Walking and walking, Madhavendra Puri finally reached Jagannath Puri, which is also known as Neelachala. There he saw Lord Jagannath and was overwhelmed with loving ecstasy. प्रेमावेशे उठे पड़े हासे नाचे गाए जगन्नाथ दर्शने महासुख पाए. In that loving ecstasy, or in that great ecstasy, so see, ecstasy is manifested in different ways. So out of that, we studied this a few days ago about the various ecstasies. What is exactly happening in that person who's going through these ecstasies? It's like when we were discussing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's like two soldiers on a battlefield fighting with each other, trying to defeat the other one. Like this, there are these emotions, loving emotions. And ecstasy is not just happiness as we think. Ecstasy can be anger, ecstasy can be jealousy, ecstasy can be sadness. That is also ecstasy. And ecstasy can be joy. And even worse is simultaneously you have different opposing emotions in you. Bhava, opposing bhavas in you. And they are trying to compete with each other and overtake the other one. Meanwhile, the person in whom all these bhavas are happening is like a field which is being trampled by a mad elephant. So, in that condition, what are the transformations that take place, or external manifestation of that ecstasy? How does it appear to others, to the world? Sometimes he's laughing, sometimes he's crying, sometimes he faints and he falls down, sometimes he calls out loudly, screaming, sometimes he's jumping and dancing, like this. These are the various uh, ecstatic manifestations. So Madhavendra Puri, when he saw Jagannath, his love uh, just, became, he was so overwhelmed with love that he would sometimes stand up, sometimes fall down, sometimes he's laughing, he's dancing, he's singing loudly. And then he was great, he was feeling great, he was getting great satisfaction in taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. Transcendental happiness, Mahasukha. And Madhavendra Puri was overwhelmed in the ecstasy of love of Godhead. He sometimes stood up and sometimes fell to the ground. Sometimes he laughed, danced, and sang. In this way, he enjoyed transcendental bliss by seeing the Jagannath deity. Madhava Puri Shripada Aila Loke Hoilo Khyati Saba Loka Asitare Kore Bahu Bhakti. Madhava Puri Shripada Aila. So, Loke Hoilo Khyati. So now he became very famous. Madhavendra Puri has become very famous. When the people heard that Madhavendra Puri, the great Madhavendra Puri has come, Saba Loka Asitare Kore Bahu Bhakti. All the people came to Madhavendra Puri and began to worship him. Madhava Puri Shripada Aila Loke Hoilo Khyati Saba Loka Asi Tare Kore Bahu Bhakti. When Madhavendra Puri came to Jagannath Puri, people were aware of his transcendental reputation. Therefore, crowds of people came and offered him all sorts of respect in devotion. प्रतिष्ठार स्वभाव एई जगते विदिता ये ना वांछे तारा होई विधाता निर्मिता. This is a very, very important principle. Pratishtara swabhav. What is the nature of fame? Recognition, name, right? What is the nature of this pratishtha? Pratishtara swabhav ei jagate vidita. It's known. The nature of fame is known in this world. What is that nature? Yena vanche, one who does not aspire for fame, tara hoy vidhata nirmita. So, person who is not hankering after fame, that person gets fame. Providence gives him fame, creates his fame. When someone is not expecting, does not want fame, fame follows him. Even though one may not like it, reputation as ordained by providence comes to him. Indeed, one's transcendental reputation is known throughout the entire world. So, someone who is trying to run away from fame, who is especially a devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will discuss this in future when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meets with Ramananda Rai. But there's a nice question answer discussion between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. One question asked by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, who is the most famous person in this world? What is the highest glory, right? Most famous person. So Ramananda Rai said, to be known as a devotee of Krishna is the greatest fame. We see that. In our recent history, we see Srila Prabhupada, right? So the extent to which you are a pure devotee of Krishna, to that extent, even though you don't desire, because the nature of a pure devotee is he does not want any fame, he doesn't want any recognition. Pure devotee means anya abhilashita shunyam. He won't desire anything save and except please his only desire. That's when he's a pure devotee. But when someone becomes a pure devotee, fame follows him. Fame follows him. He does not want, he's running away from fame, but fame follows him. How famous was Srila Prabhupada? Is, why was, right? All over the world. And how he became so famous? At one point, nobody knew who he was, isn't it? How Srila Prabhupada struggled in trying to preach Krishna consciousness in India, in Delhi, in Vrindavan, in Kolkata. How much he struggled. Family responsibilities and all that. But when he made the fame of Krishna known in the whole world, he himself became very, very famous. Was he expecting his personal fame? No. He was simply focused on giving Krishna to everyone. People who didn't even know who Krishna was, who would look at India as a third world country, a poverty stricken country. Srila Prabhupada went from such a country to countries like, England and America and all over the world actually, Russia, Africa, everywhere. And he made Krishna a household word all over the world. The most famous people, Beatles, they took to Krishna consciousness. At least some of the Beatles took to Krishna consciousness. So when Srila Prabhupada made Krishna known all over the world, he himself became so famous. He himself became so famous. So the extent to which one, specifically when one is a preacher, right? And of course, if you're a preacher and if you become a preacher because you get fame, then you don't get fame. Even if you get it is not, but when you're selflessly rendering devotional service to Krishna, because your desire is to give Krishna to the world, your desire is to see everyone happy in Krishna consciousness. because this will please Krishna. If that is the motivation, this will please the Guru Parampara. With that motivation, when one preaches, he becomes the most famous person. And the irony is, such a pure devotee does not want fame. I see in the case of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he's always hiding away from crowds, right? He'll just stay somewhere. He'll come silently and he'll go out silently. Very, very silently he will come, and alone. You'll never see him walking around with his servants, entourage in front and behind. No, he does not. He will come alone and he will leave alone, if you notice. But as soon as he is spotted, you will see there's a big crowd around him wherever he goes. In fact, he can't even come and take darshan, because as soon as he comes, there's everyone crowding around him. Wherever he goes, whether in America or in Mayapur. I'm sure there are other devotees like that, but I'm just, what I have seen, I'm saying. But he runs away from fame, for sure. He doesn't want fame. He's hiding. But the nature of fame is such that even if the devotee does not want, fame follows a devotee. Fame follows a devotee. So who is the most famous person? One who is a pure devotee of Krishna is the most famous person. So even though one may not like it, reputation, as ordained by providence, comes to him. Indeed, one's transcendental reputation is known throughout the entire world. Yes. And you become a devotee, what to speak of just this world, the whole universe. We see that even the demigods are talking about great devotees on this earth. All over the universe, the person becomes famous when he becomes a great devotee of Krishna. People in this world try for fame, isn't it? You want to become Miss Universe so that you'll become very famous. Or you want to become the President of America, so you'll become famous. Or you want to, be an astronaut and go to the moon so that the whole world will know about you. This is nothing. This fame is finished. After a few years, nobody will remember. Do you remember who was Miss Universe in, 6 years ago? If somebody asked you, maybe you'll remember Indian Miss Universe. Even that, I doubt if you remember all of them who became Miss Universe. People forget. People forget. That person may be thinking about it. Oh, I was this and I was that. But the whole world, they have other things, right? The old person goes, a new person comes, then they forget the old, and now the new person is in the limelight. In every field, it is like that. Presidents also. They're just there in the books. How much are you just, remembering them and glorifying them all the time? Doesn't happen. But Krishna and Krishna's devotee. You look at Prabhupada's Guru Puja, just go online and see Mayapur Guru Puja. Every single day, it does not matter whether there is festival or not. The temples that Srila Prabhupada has started, I'm not talking about ISKCON devotees who are initiated. Crowds and crowds of people from outside, they come in buses every single day. We don't know where they are coming from. You look at Mangalarti, Mayapur, it is packed with people. Devotees, certainly, devotees are there from all over the world. But even from outside, they're coming. It's packed. There's no room. Most of the devotees don't even go out of fear of the crowds. They sit and watch online, and then they go later on when the crowds are not there. During the day, they go and take darshan. Really. But those who are completely dedicated, somehow or other, even in that crowd, they just go and they take darshan. So this is the fame of a devotee. Look at Prabhupada's Guru Puja. They stand in such long lines waiting to offer a few flower petals to Srila Prabhupada. This is the fame of a devotee. One who is a selfless servant of Krishna, his fame is known all over the universe. People are just coming like that. So that's the nature of fame. And even if that person who does such wonderful service, even he does not want fame, fame will follow him. Why we are discussing this here? Madhavendra Puri didn't want fame. That's why he ran away from uh, Remuna. He went away in the middle of the night and he arrived in Jagannath Puri. When he came to Jagannath Puri, already the word spread. And besides, his ecstasies when he saw Jagannath, everybody was seeing. Immediately there were crowds and crowds of people around him, worshipping him, offering various gifts to him, like that. The fame of a devotee. So we'll stop there today. Let's continue tomorrow. Thank you all so much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.